Do levels of spirituality, I haven't seen this question, so I must look at it. Do levels of spirituality or consciousness exist? What parts to psychic healing, astral projections, the ability to see auras, and the entities and so on play in all this? And can these interfere with relationship and our abilities to see clearly God? Do levels of spirituality or consciousness exist? What part do psychic healing, astral projection, the ability to see auras and entities, etc., play in all this? And can these interfere with relationship and our abilities to see clearly? I don't know quite how to answer this. First of all, the first question in this is, do levels of spirituality or levels in consciousness exist? That is one more spiritual than the other? You understand? The more, that is one nearer truth than the other fellow? Now, what is the meaning of the word more? The more is a measurement, isn't it? I am this, I will be more rich tomorrow. Or I am violent now, but I will not be violent another week's time. So the mind is always measuring. I'm tall, you're short, you're fair, somebody's black, somebody's yellow, somebody's pink. Measurement. That is, measurement is comparison. And the word measure also plays part in meditation. Measurement and meditation are related. Please, this is very important if you want to understand this. Why do human beings measure? Not for clothes, I'm not talking about that. Psychologically, inwardly, why do we want to measure ourselves with somebody? That is, the measurement of what is and towards what should be. You follow this? I am not good today, but give me time, I will be good. Which is, the allowing of time interval is the measure. You follow this? Are we together in this? When I have the concept of psychological time, that time implies measurement. You get this? So, the questioner says, is there in spirituality, whatever that word may mean for the moment, we are using the ordinary sense of that word, the accepted sense of that word, is there in spirituality a measurement? Where there is measurement, there is no spirituality. Right? A guru, a bishop, and so on, so on, so on, so on. There is this concept, this idea that someone is nearer God, nearer truth. God, I don't mean God, nearer truth. And he has achieved something, and I have to achieve that, and to achieve that I must have time, and I must measure myself every day, right? And this is obviously so utterly mundane, utterly physical. That is, I'm a clerk in an office, and perhaps next year I'll be a superior clerk, and fourth year I'll be, 10 years later I'll be executive. It is the same movement carried over into the psychological area. And so there is the nearest disciple, and the novitiate right there. There's a monastery out in Italy. The speaker used to go and visit it, where the novitiate waited for 9 years. You understand? After 9 years, she was allowed to go into the inner sanctuary. There is a perfect measurement. And that's called spiritual growth. And the question asks also, are there levels in consciousness? That is, the unconscious and the conscious, right? This is how we have divided consciousness. The hidden and the obvious. The thing that is dark and the thing that's light. We have divided consciousness that way. And in that consciousness, there are several divisions. Now, to the speaker, consciousness is whole. It cannot be divided. Please see why. If there is consciousness, which is to be fully awake, then there is nothing hidden. You understand? I wonder, no, please don't agree to this so quickly. Go into it carefully. You see, Freud and all those gentlemen, professionals, have divided this, our consciousness, to various categories. And we poor laymen, not knowing, we accept all this. But as the speaker, as many people do not read all this, perhaps they have studied their own states, one can see very clearly when one is conscious of something, either you're conscious fully or very, very partially, as most of us are. When you look at this marvelous country, the hills, the trees, the light and the shadows, when you are completely aware of all this, there is no hidden shadows in your own mind. So if one is completely aware of oneself, there is no division between higher consciousness and lower consciousness. It is consciousness with all its content. One can divide. Belief in some sacred thing is higher than my sexual or sensory responses, but it's part of my consciousness, which I have divided for some pleasurable reasons or for some desire to achieve something, or is a pattern which I have accepted as measurement, and I measure myself. This is better than this. This is nobler than this. But it is part of this consciousness. Now, is there can my unconscious, that is, the deep, please listen to this, the deep, undiscovered traces of fear exist when I have gone into the whole movement of fear? You understand my question? I've examined fear and the causes of fear because the mind has realized that any form of fear, hidden, secret, personal, of physical and so on, any form of fear is destructive. The mind has realized this, not verbally, but actually. So, it is concerned completely with the freedom of fear, freedom from total fear, not partial fear. So, it is willing, it is open to all the hidden movements of fear to reveal itself through dreams, through acts, through various forms of, when you are walking by yourself in a wood or on the road, suddenly you realize there's a movement of fear, unconscious, which you have not realized before, which means your mind is open to the revelation of your own fears. That requires a great deal of inquiry into the nature of fear, which we did last few days ago. So, the hidden, dark, in the fears that are in the deep recesses of one's consciousness in the mind, can come out exposed naturally if one is insistent, urgent, that there must be freedom from total fear. You follow all this? The very necessity of being free of fear brings about the total exposure of all fear. That demands watchfulness, sensitivity, to be alert to every kind of feeling, nuances of feeling, the subtleties of reactions. So, as long as there is measurement, there must be division, both in consciousness and in so-called spirituality. What part do psychic healing, astral projections, the ability to see, blah, blah, play in all this, and can these interfere with the relationship and our abilities to see clearly? How does one answer this question? What prevents a human being from seeing clearly? Seeing not optically, inwardly, seeing things as they are, very clearly, without any distortion. Outside agency, astral projections, imagination, prejudice, bias, conclusions which you hold on to, experience which you think are important. On these obvious facts that prevent clarity of perception. Why don't we go into those rather than into astral projections? You know that word astral projection, so you say, I won't go into that, sorry. What part, psychic healing. One can heal only when there is no self. You understand it? But self is so deceptive, so cunning, that it hides behind all kinds of manner. Suppose I am a devout religious person attached to some form of symbol or idea, a projection, and that projection is me, greater, nobler, is the highest form. I'm still selfish. I'm still me, only glorified. As long as there is any sense of the self, healing becomes rather tawdry. But when there is no self at all, there is a possibility of healing.